Hey Sagittarius, it's Empress Rose here, and welcome to your reading. General reading, take what works, leave what doesn't. If I don't catch your wavelength or storyline on this one, check your other major placements. If I do catch your storyline, there'll be an extended on the Vimeo where we're going to do this traditional spread right here, and then we'll do a spread over that with another deck of cards and then take each card together over on Vimeo. So let's just get started here. Sagittarius, cutting the deck. Oh, that's fascinating. Okay. Oh, 5 of coins. What? Poverty, scarcity mindset, being focused on everything you don't have, maybe feeling left out of some sort of abundance or some sort of maybe even activity, maybe not having a job or a time of poverty. Fun. This is a good reading so far. And then also from the bottom of the deck, we have 2 of Wands, having to calculate something. So this looks like maybe some budgeting, very practical. 5 of Coins can be a very practical card, being a 3D card, a grounded card. 2 of Wands is about practical considerations, knowing that looking to the future, knowing that something's going to happen, going to be a certain way. This could be about needing to save money. This could be about looking at a time. You're definitely looking at a time possibly in the future or the near future where there may be a little bit of scarcity for you. And you may be having to plan for that. This could be planning for retirement. This could be realizing that some sort of situation, you're not going to have everything you need there. Maybe, yeah, there's some sort of calculations and planning here and maybe you're looking at the past at a time when you didn't have enough and you're really calculating that bit. It's just the 2 of Wands is about having an intuition or an instinct about something, but being very calculating about it. It's a very grounded card in the Wands suit, which is more messages, spirituality. It's our most spiritual suit. And then we have the most grounded suit here. So the 2 of Wands, though, in that spiritual suit is the more grounded energy there, is the more like planning, figuring out, trying to understand, calculating. So the rest of it's all in faith and creativity for the most part. And this one is a step outside of that, like, okay, that's a great plan, but I don't think I have enough money. So this is doing the calculations, doing some budgeting, figuring out if you do have the resources and funds. So this is very practical energy. All right, Sagittarius, past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Oh, this is just so interesting. Okay. We have a lot of push-pull energy that's not necessarily, at first glance, looking very coherent, but all right, we have the Magician card here. We have, in the recent past, we have something that you have created. You assembled the parts. This is a little bit of that 2 of Wands. We have but you're bringing the energy. You're making something happen. The parts were assembled, calculations were made, parts were assembled, and you were able to accomplish something. So the Magician card in the past reminds us that we have been able to accomplish things in the past. We have been able to put our mind to things, to figure out how to accomplish something, to make it happen in the real world, to bring that creative, I want to say masculine creative energy to initiate something, to begin something, to create something in reality. So we have that in the Magician here. So you've made things happen. You've seen what you've wanted. You've gone for it. You've been able to make stuff happen in the past. So this is coming up to remind you of that your past is rich with manifestations. Maybe they weren't maybe they didn't look magical, but they were still, you wanted that apartment and you got it. You wanted that car and you got it. You wanted that job and you got it. Like, there are things in your life that you wanted, that you worked for, that you achieved and accomplished. So in your current situation, though, we have Knight of Coins. No movement. No movement right now. The Knight of Coins can be a little bit stagnant. He's looking to the future, planning. This is, again, this planning mode right here. A lot of planning, but no movement. Not taking the steps, or whatever steps are taken. They're small, little baby steps. very sure-footed. He really wants to know where he's going. Even his dog's getting impatient with him and like, you cannot be serious. We're planning this much. We're planning this long. We're planning this hard. At some point, sir, you're going to have to just pull the trigger and move forward. So he's looking at like what he wants to do for work. Nights are about communication. So there could be just a stoppage of communication, a blockage. This night, the Knight of Coins is kind of like the constipated energy, just like it's all blocked, stopped. Yeah, there's stuff that needs to happen, but it's not. Don't hold your breath waiting for it. So yeah, he's that's what I get here today from this card, is that like, yep, there's stuff that's got to happen. There's stuff that's got to come out, but it's not. So I have never gotten that metaphor from that card before, and I'm sort of blushing with embarrassment about it. But there is like, and maybe this Magician is more about having assembled all the parts and then now you're just sitting on it. You're just like, okay, well, now what? So there could be no communication about the situation. Communication may have stopped about it. This could be a person that's just stubbornly not moving. I kind of get the feeling that it could be you, of just like over planning something and not making any moves. And maybe that's fine, right? We're not saying that's wrong. I guess I said over planning, which implies that just a lot of planning has gone on in something and not a lot of movement. I mean, admirably, we are thinking first and shooting later, so that's good, rather than shooting first and thinking later. Like, you know, we're thinking first. Yeah, thinking a lot first. All right, then in your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, Ace of Swords. This is clarifying communication. Oh, you could have it, or somebody has some sort of somebody has the communication and they're not sharing it. Or you're hoping to hear from communication, or you're hoping to communicate, but you may be like really very much wanting to communicate what you need to communicate very precisely. So this Ace of Swords is about, it's also about an epiphany. You could be having an epiphany and just kind of sitting on it, not knowing what to do with it yet. That's why we don't have any movement. Or you could be like waiting for the epiphany, or waiting for the gunshot, right? Like waiting for the go, waiting for the sign that now's the time to communicate. Now's the time to do this. You're waiting for the urge to hit here. It would be what this Ace of Swords is, especially with a communication or talking about something. You're waiting for your moment. You're looking for your moment. You're hoping that that moment's going to come in, or some sort of epiphany, something that jolts this out of this stability. Like the situation is in stasis. It's not in planning. And like, when do you pull the trigger? When do you go for it? When do you do this finally? When do you begin? When do you, like the pinball machine's all set up, when do you let go and let this thing start moving on its own? So yeah, this could be communication, epiphanies, realization, trying to understand something, maybe intellectually understand something. And that's a great thing this is about intellectually understanding the situation as well. Like we have some sort of inspired action, inspiration, but we're trying to really understand it intellectually before we make a move. What's at issue here is this reverse High Priestess. You don't have all the facts and you know it. Some things may be being kept hidden from you intentionally, either by other people in the situation or by the divine. This is all about what can be known and what can't be known. And the reverse talks about intentional obfuscation. You don't have the information that you need. And maybe you're waiting on it. Maybe you've asked somebody, you've been like, hey, I'd like that apartment, and they haven't communicated back. You're waiting for communication. There's something else going on there's a reason why they don't want to communicate with you. Like as a metaphor, like if you wanted something and you started going for it and you haven't heard back and you're wondering about hearing back, you're not hearing back for a reason. They may have some other deal in the works. They may have, there's something, it's hidden from you intentionally, why this communication is stopped. So, and you may know that. You may have an intuitive understanding about that. That's why you don't, like there's something that you want and you're not getting it and you're not hearing back from the person. And there's a reason for that. They're not sharing that reason with you. And you may be withholding communication because you know that there's some part of this that you don't understand, that something's being kept from you and hidden from you. Oh my gosh, this reading started out with like, what's going on here? But now that I'm getting into it, I'm seeing a lot more here, a lot of cohesion. So yeah, there's something that you want that you don't have yet. Communication stopped and something's being kept from you. So it could be somebody intruding on the communication, or somebody who's supposed to be communicating with you and they're not. They're keeping something private, secret, hidden. In your environment, you have 2 of coins. So this could be negotiation, juggling. This could be somebody has 2 offers that they're juggling, or 2 options, or even more. There's a sense of needing to juggle something, there's a little bit of a tumultuous environment. There's a little bit, they're trying to create space here so that they can make a decision. This could also be negotiation. So someone could be negotiating with somebody else right now. And they could be trying to juggle like 2 relationships, or 2 offers on something, or 2 good candidates, or something like that. Or they could just have a lot on their plate, honestly. This one can also be like some sort of overwhelm that you're having difficulty juggling. So somebody's got just a lot on their plate, or a lot on their plate, like, and it's somehow tied up with you and with this situation, and they're trying to figure something out, trying to balance something, or trying to negotiate something. They're trying to juggle things. I don't want to necessarily say someone's juggling 2 people, 2 relationships, but that is coming across as a possibility here, among others, right, that I've already listed. So then in your to-do list is 2 of Cups. So emotional, authentic sharing conversation. So this isn't something that you have to force and be like, now we have our 2 of Cups moment. You're like looking for an opening, looking for an opportunity to have some sort of authentic connection and communication with somebody. So this whole reading has to do with some kind of communication. It's being withheld because someone either has too much on their plate, or they're juggling. What's fascinating here is that we have there is a lot about a relationship, because we have 2 of Wands, 2 of Coins, and 2 of Cups. So that's a lot of 2s going on here. Hold on. I know enough to know that when there's that many of one number in a reading, that it's trying to signify something, but I can never remember. So here's the book I like to consult with that. 3 2s mean that a review, restructure, or reorganization is required. So that's sort of what I'm getting here with this. Let me put it away so that I don't have a big mess here. Okay, so that's what I'm getting with this 2 of Coins a little bit. Is someone's trying to figure something out. There might be some sort of reorganization or restructuring going on in their life. And that's why they're withholding information from you, some sort of negotiation or restructuring. 2 of Cups would be having a conversation. Talk about it. I think you're either looking for an opportunity. When the opportunity is presented, if communication comes in, make sure you're being authentic, you're being real, and you're genuinely connecting with the other person. You're listening, you're sharing. This is authentic communication. Maybe even a little bit of vulnerability thrown in there. Obviously, use your best discretion there, but you may need to initiate it, because this other person is. It does seem like another person here. This other person isn't, it may be a boss energy, maybe a, realtor or something like that. They're not communicating. You may have to, calculations are being made here. You may have to initiate, but if not, there'll be an opening here. So you're looking for a possibility for just some genuine communication. It might just even be like, what is going on? How come I haven't heard from you? I really want to understand. So we're coming in, like the Two of Cups is very gentle communication, very connected communication, when we're doing a lot of listening and we're doing our own sharing, but there's a genuineness here. And it might need to, like, you might need to take someone aside. It needs to be a little bit like out of the day-to-day hustle. This isn't someone you're just going to run by in the hallway and be like, hey, what's up? This is like going to their office, shutting the door and being like, let's talk. Like, this is more of a private conversation that needs to happen. And there needs to be space made for it, a specific time and space made for this communication. Possible outcome, the Hermit, you could end up single. Possible outcome. If this is a communication with someone who's juggling two people, just understand that you could, this could result in you being single. But you know what? The Hermit's fine. Okay. Like breakups aren't fun, but the Hermit, he's on his own path. Like, you have a unique path. It's yours and yours alone. It's always really shocking to me that our paths are so separate, but they are. And this is like a sense of finding the next step only through your own intuition, not caring what other people think, not being worried about being part of the group or being part of the tribe. You may end up, leaving a work situation. You may end up leaving even a friend group or a relationship. Once this heart-to-heart comes out, that may be an option that you look at and consider, at least the possibility that you may want to strike out on your own, that this lack of communication indicates somebody's reorganizing and restructuring their life, and you may end up being left out, right? Because we have this, being left out. Calculations and calibrations being made, and being the one left out. You've got someone here comforting you. Or this could be like, going to a friend and being like, hey, I'm just really talking to someone. This could be a counselor, a therapist, a friend. The Hermit card, though, indicates that there's a possibility that you could be striking out on your own in the future, or that you would, you're going to be more concerned about what you want and what your next step is. You're not going to get an overall vista of the whole lay of the land here. Like, this guy's looking for the overall vista. He needs to see the whole lay of the land. This guy's more trusting in his instincts, trusting in himself to be able to find his own path. And he's just got a lantern. He doesn't have that overall view. He's just got a lantern here, and he's only going to see a couple steps ahead of him. And that's going to be fine. You can get there the same way. Like, this guy, his need to see the whole thing and how everything plays out is keeping him stuck. This guy's at least moving, slowly but moving. This guy's kind of stuck here, just overly analyzing everything and trying to make sure everything's perfect. There's a bit of a perfectionist vibe to the Knight of Coins. Everything's got to be perfect before he can move. This is like, I'll figure it out as I go. I'm committed to figuring it out as I go. And the Hermit also really doesn't give a shit what other people think. So that's where you could be headed there. All right, if that resonated with you, then join me over on Vimeo if you want. If that resonated with you and you don't want, you're welcome to do that too, of course. So, all right, well, thank you for watching, Sagittarius. Thanks for your likes, subscribes, and comments, and I appreciate them.